exciting lap where they'll come round to the start line again and get ready. We won't have the same formalities we did last race, but on screen we've got our weather conditions at the moment. Air temperature 28 degrees, sand or the ground temperature 30. It's a bit higher than that, I think. The wind temperature 9 metres a second, so a nice breeze, but the humidity up to around 72% here in a place we're about 2 hours outside of Bangkok, the capital of this wonderful country called Thailand. And then a track layout. It's got 13 turns in it, 3 dirt sections, a couple of whoop-dees, couple of tabletops, some S-bends, and all linked in together in this magnificent facility that's a purpose-built track just for motorcycles. And we've had the local guys out here in a variety of different classes, even an adventure bike class with big GS 1200s running around and showing and strutting their stuff and using part of the old motocross track. As we look at the results from race number 1, Simon Wilhelmsen on winning on bike number 64, Lewis Cornish on bike number 8. Both of them feeling the effects of a bit of an upset tummy. Mohammed Habibullah Gabit in 3rd position with Trekorn Tantong in 4th. Then it's Hairi Zakaria there on bike number 32 in 5th position. From the Japanese rider Makoto Arai, and Daniel Hakal was in the position behind him. Then Jatura Porn taking out 8th position as we look through the rest of the field made up of Pedro Werner, Porntep. Then it is Daniel Yunasri, and then Sang Wai Ki from Hong Kong rounding out the field, as we don't have Ivan Harry as a starter after having a little bit of a whoopsie yesterday and injuring his left hand. No brakes, but sprained it pretty badly, which forced him out of the event, which is disappointing for him to come all this way. As we see the guys coming up to take their grid positions at the moment. So just seeing the difference in positions, as we see that it's basically 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th was finished the way they qualified. So obviously Simon Wilhelmsen, he comes up to be on pole position. Just looking to see where Lou Cornish is. He's in 2nd. And then on the outside of the front row will be bike number 27, Gabit. And then next, on the 2nd row of the grid, on position number 4, Trekorn Tantong, the local Thai hero, the 2015 FIM Asia Supermoto champion. And then it's Hairi Zakaria in 5th, and rounding out the 2nd row should be, is it Makoto Arai? I'm just trying to see his bike at the moment. There comes Lewis Cornish, the last one out. Probably having a bit of a drink before he come. Welcome back, Troy.
Yeah, welcome back, Braxy. Yeah, I just had a quick word with Lewis, and he's actually feeling a little bit better after that first race. I think his stomach settled down a little bit there. He's got a bit of fluids into him and a bit of food, so expecting a little bit, maybe a bit of a tighter race there with our leader there.
Now we've got down on the grid, we've got a couple of interviews happening with Farah down there. We'll throw down to her and see what words of wisdom she can get.
Mohammed Habibullah, better known as Gabit to the Supermoto community. P3 for the start of race 2. How do you feel?
Okay, tadi Moto 1 agak start awal tu agak lambat, very too late, and then so I catch up one by one, and about 6-7 lap, and I overtake Hairi and Haikal, and then yeah, syukur alhamdulillah I finished pit 4 position. So I tried for Moto 2 and full gas. I hope I buat yang terbaik lah. So I try lebih fokus and consistent, insyaAllah.
Good luck for the race, Gabit. All the best. Okay, we're gonna go look for our local hero, the Thai local hero right here, Trakan, who a former champion himself, and he's gonna storm through the track, I think. But we'll get some words from Trakan. Trakan, how do you feel about this race 2, especially after a really good race 1?
Yes, I will do the best in the race 2.
What's the strategy going after these 2 really fast guys? And of course, you've got Gabit up in front of you. What's the strategy?
It's okay. I feel good now. Yes.
So what is your target right now for this race?
I need to win in the AC class.
Okay, well, good luck and all the best. And we're going to throw back to our two commentators, Mark and Troy.
Thanks, Farah. Some words of wisdom from the lads. These guys painfully shy when you talk to them, but put a helmet on them and they go into a different mode, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the old race ahead. You put your helmet on and you're in your own little world there, and you're basically stepping into your own little office. So, yeah, I think they'll still be a little bit of nerves. Obviously, they got the first race out of the way, and everybody finished that race. So the track's actually changed a little bit there because we had the local Supermoto boys out there on the track. So I just actually ran around, done a quick lap, and just kicked off a few stones and picked up a few odd bits of bike and stuff off the track. So make sure these guys don't get flicked by a stone sitting in the middle of the track. So yeah, I'm fairly happy that the circuit's ready for them to start racing race 2.
Yeah, and the grid has been cleared. The warning's gone out. These guys will go and do 2 more warm-up laps before they come back and grid up again for the start of race number 2 of round number 1 here in Thailand. The Nakhon Chai Si circuit, great place, this great facility we keep saying, but there's a lot of countries that wish for a bike-friendly facility like this to be able to go and play on.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said before, we've done a lap of the track actually into the first dirt section in between the second and the third whoop. Right where the guys are landing, the track's actually starting to break up a little bit there, so hopefully it'll hang together for this race. The back straight, yeah, it looks pretty good. Middle section looks like okay, the jumps are holding up together, so looking forward to a fantastic
Yeah,
race.
I suppose the question is, can anybody really stop Simon Wilhelmsen? He was just in such a dominant form there, and both him and Lewis Cornish suffering effects of a tummy bug, and makes their efforts all the more remarkable. They were dehydrated, they would have had no energy whatsoever to try, and it would have just been all on autopilot a lot of the time, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, a lot of the time in the first race, you really can't give it 100%. You've got to save a bit of energy for that race too. You've got to do later in the day. So
as we hear the revs building and clicking gear as they head off, which you see on 23.tv going live all around the world. Welcome again to this first round of the FIM Asia Supermoto Championship at Circuit Nakhon Chai Si. And a great little layout they've got here, purpose built, same track they used last year. And it's going to be a permanent fixture on the FIM Asia Supermoto Championship for at least for the next 2 years anyway. They've locked that one in. And I know there's talks with the various other countries around the Asian region that are keen to get on board and have this in their own backyard because it is growing in stature. And I've noted there's a few international riders from America, Australia and Europe that are looking closely, maybe coming in 1 or 2 trips there. And maybe getting just that little teaser for it. And it's not only coming out here to the race, it's the whole coming in new cultures, seeing different cultures, meeting different people.
you know, if you notice there, Braxy, on the start line, some of the riders, they jump off the bike and get to the front and pull the bike down and they actually lock the front forks down. That's actually so they can launch the bike off the start line a little bit easier without the front wheel launching into the air. Gives a bit more forward push on the as they let the clutch out. So pretty much most of the bikes have them fit. I know some of the guys at the back there don't seem to have them, but the front 2, 4, 5, 6 guys I can see with that locking system on the front forks.
Yeah, and it's more and more popular. Like you said, keep the front wheel down. Look, the eyes, temples are pulsing at the moment, sweat building in the back. Lights are on. Race 2 is underway, and again Wilhelmsen gets a rocket start. But I tell you what, Lewis Cornish is trying there, but again he did exactly the same thing in that start with Wilhelmsen cutting across.
Oh, Lewis is having to go up the inside there. He said to me he wasn't going to let him go this time. He thought he'd just save his energy for the first race and give it his 100% this second race. So I'm expecting Lewis to actually push fairly hard on this first lap, so Simon doesn't get a bit of a gap on him like he did in race 1.
Well, you don't want to leave anything out there, do you? You know, try and let Wilhelmsen know that he's going to have a competition this year and it's not going to be all his own way. That dust is really building up at the moment. That wind's dropped off a little bit too, which is slowing it down from dissipating as they get up now onto the back straight.
Makoto took an arrow up in 5th position there. He's got a better start there. He's in 7th place on race 1 in the first lap, so let's see if he can hold his position and finish in the top 5.
Yeah, it's, and then he hasn't got the lead that he had in that first leg, that's for sure. Look at the rest of the lads as they come down now to the final turn for the drag down the straight and hit the brakes before they actually get to the start-finish line. They tip it into the dirt section for the first time. And bike number 64 is away again. And like you said in the first race, Troy, I think he gets the same pebble and bitumen every time he crosses anywhere, the same bit of dirt. And look at him, he's not even really putting the feet down in the dirt at this stage either.
Yeah, well, a lot of the time you guys can control the bike a lot more if you keep your feet on the foot pegs. Yeah, you haven't got your legs flapping around and the bike moving underneath. You can actually hold it, grip it between your feet and your knees actually, and control the bike when it does slide. So obviously you learn that in motocross. A lot of the motocross guys don't take their feet off at all as well. So it's great to see that they're transitioning over to Supermoto with the same technique.
As we look now in third position behind points is Top in third, and Gabin in fourth, and Hari Zakaria in sixth, and Makoto Arai in seventh position. Just see the gap. Then it was 1.7 seconds, so it was a similar gap that he set up in the first race as well. So he goes storming past our viewing point here onto the dirt section. I'll tell you what, Cornish should want to keep his act together, or else he's going to have a bit of attention from the local tyre man.
Yeah, he's actually looking like he's struggling a little bit there, although he's probably feeling a bit better. He's probably used up all of his energy there in that first race. I did speak to him just after that. He was trying to take on as much hydration as possible there. I seen his partner going down to the medical centre and grabbing some hydration.
The old electrolytes. And the same can be said for Bill Helmson. And the other thing too you've got to keep in mind with Lewis Cornish, he was only in hospital a week or so ago. He got an infection in Indonesia and he was put in an isolation ward for a week. So that obviously that's going to have a big knock-on effect on his fitness. Got a cut, it didn't look like much of a cut, but it got ulcerated and turned very pear-shaped for him. But thankfully he's recovered from that, but that would have to have a big bearing on his fitness combined with this lack of hydration and the upset tummy he's got. Coming down a complete lap number 3. Corn still there in third spot with Gabit starting to close down. And then
the lap times breaks in that first race were quite fast. Actually had a quick look at the times, and Simon actually dropped into the 1 minute 9s in that race 1. So he was obviously pushing hard. Lewis was a little disappointed. He only got into like a mid-10. But that's a second faster than what they done yesterday. So Simon's actually obviously found the rhythm of his circuit and feeling 100%.
Well, Dato Eric Liu, the man that owns that team, is Simon's team, actually was they were trying to get him to slow down. And I said to Eric, I said, well, probably not the best thing to do. You want to keep your concentration and not, if you start backing off and you're feeling a bit cool, you're going to start making mistakes.
Absolutely, yes. It sounds strange, but you're better off just riding at the percentage that you feel comfortable with. Because like you said, if you do just roll off just that little bit, that's when a mistake can happen. You just lose focus just for a split second and you'll be down on the ground.
And this could be even more critical in this race because they've already had a long race this morning. But again, he cuts it really tight there, exiting the bitumen section on pit straight. And now the gap out to 5 seconds in 4 laps. So he's very similar pace to what he was doing in the first race.
Yeah, third place rider's actually hanging on the back of there of Lewis Cornfeld. So he's obviously he's found his rhythm a little bit better as well, and he's not going to let Lewis Cornish get away from him this time.
No, he is. And he's probably done a lot more laps around this place as Tan Tong than all the riders put together, being a local Thai rider. And unfortunately, he won't be able to take part in all the series, Troy, because he's actually studying to be a doctor. So he's actually studying to be a doctor, is Tan Tong. So he can't get off. He's got some exams coming up. So.
What are you saying? Us riders aren't intelligent people?
No, I didn't say that at all, mate. But no, it's good that he's. Well, you don't see many motorcyclists wanting to become doctors because we know what doctors treat us like when you get the casualty ward. You idiot! What are you doing again this time?
Yeah, no, it's great to see all these guys actually have normal jobs. It's not their full-time career. So they're obviously here racing this weekend, and a lot of the guys have to go to work tomorrow. So obviously it's.
Now what do we see now? 5 laps down with 13 minutes. We've got the countdown clock this time. We had the one that was rolling up. This is a little bit better to be looking at to see how much time is actually left. So about a quarter of the way in.
Getting very dusty down in that third dirt section down there. So obviously the guys, when they're a bit bunched up, following someone, it's really difficult. But yeah, it looks like the wind's actually dropped a bit, so the dust is actually hanging around a bit now. This morning's race 1, the wind is actually blowing it off the circuit once they went across it. So boys might be struggling just a little bit here with a bit of visibility as well.
Yeah, no, that makes it all the more critical, I suppose, when you're a bit cooked. You want to be putting as much water into yourself as possible, and your mouth's that dry from the dust. You're finding it hard to breathe. You'll be panting for breath a lot of the time as well, particularly when we get down to the last 5 or 6 minutes of this race.
Yeah, also the dust in the air just gets you breathing, but it also gets in your eyes, and you end up getting like dry eyes and stuff. So and these guys are lucky, like us road races. We actually have like a hydration pack on the back of our suits that we can use on conditions like this.
I'm surprised a few of them haven't got a little camel back on them.
Yeah, I think it could be something that we could look into for the future. It definitely makes a difference. It's not really to have a drink, it's just that to wet your mouth so you don't get that dry mouth. And it just helps you breathe a lot easier.
And your tongue doesn't feel like it's 3 foot thick as you're trying to concentrate. But I'll tell you what, there's some good little battles back down here through the field, Troy.
Yeah, we've got a good group of basically our first 3 riders, but then we've got about 3 riders there, coming within about 2 seconds.
Now look at Hakal. He was, he finished 7th in the first race. He's up to 5th now, and he is getting quicker and quicker, and he's leading that pack. And he's got 3 of them behind him at the moment that are snapping at his heels, but I'll tell you what, he is a very, very fast learner. Another one that you can't get boo out of because he's so
we just had a
shy.
rider come down there in the dirt section there, so hopefully you can get the bike up and get going. He was actually running in a pretty good position there, but managed to keep the bike running and get the bike back into gear and get moving again.
Yeah, it'd be getting more and more slippery out there too, wouldn't it, with this dust coming up? Just trying to pick that number up, it's a bit hard to see through the cloud of dust there. Just see where that... It's not the top 7 at the moment. And that's our back marks coming through, just trying to pick up where our leader, right number 64, Simon Wilhelmsson, is on the team DEL Michelin Racing machine. There he is at the moment, going out through the second dirt section. 6.4 seconds after 10 minutes, so about half race distance at the moment. And he's just so much aggression in his riding. He's so forceful the way he rides that bike. Coming down a complete lap number 8.
We're just coming up to half race distance here, Brax, and our leader's he's pulled a bit of a gap. He's up to 6.5 second lead now, but looks like he's actually just taken a little bit more steady than what he was in race 1. Lewis Cornish hasn't actually lost as much ground as what he did at this stage of the race in race 1, so I think it's a little bit of Lewis maybe just going a little bit quicker, feeling better, and Simon's actually just feeling a bit more relaxed and pretty much controlling the race, making sure he makes no mistakes on the track and actually has like a small little crash, because that's all it'll take, and I think Lewis Cornish will be right on his back wheel.
Yeah, so they look like they're doing it easy and treating the track as their slave sort of thing, but like you said, it's only one little slip, come on, and as he's trying to pass a back marker at the moment, they're trying to have their own race at times that they can get a little bit in the way, and if you've got to move suddenly to try and miss something, it can all turn pear-shaped very quickly. So he's Wilhelmsson heads on to the final dirt section again. So we're over the half race distance of the time, the 20 minutes moto, which then we'll have the 2 laps, but now again out to 6.2 seconds after 8 laps. So he's coming down a bit, but like you said, 2C, he knows where he is. He'll be getting the Dodo Eric Lew will be giving him the pit board to let him know how far in front he is.
I actually just had a little bit of a look over going over the jump, and he's actually using that hairpin section there just to look across the track and see where Lewis is. So using his lap boards for sure, but visually you can actually see where he's running, and he looks quite comfortable, and he's slowly creeping away about half a second a lap from what the last 5 laps. So
Yeah, there's a couple of good spots in this track where you get a bit of a vision behind you, just to turn at the head to see where everybody is.
It's a pity they haven't got any big screens around. I used to use a big screen when I was racing, just look up at the TV and see yourself on TV. It was a little bit strange, but it's like having a rear view mirror, and you sort of check out the guys behind you and see what position they're running.
Maybe that'll be another innovation we'll bring to the FIM Asia Supermoto Championship. So down into the final 8 minutes. And then on screen we've got Hovi Zakari, the Malaysian rider, probably number 2 in Malaysia, I'd say, behind Muhammad Habibullah bin Salah. Good bit. And just seeing the differences, the difference between Cornish and Tan Tong, that seems to be closing down a bit.
That was very close there. Lewis Cornish actually gets caught a slow rider just on the transition from the dirt onto the road, and he tried to get out of the way, but there wasn't quite enough room. They almost touched handlebars, so Lewis was very lucky that he didn't actually touch, because there's not a lot of runoff area just on the outside of that corner.
I think he might have been just hitting the groove that he wants to too, because of his fitness and fatigue that is starting to set in. Bill Helmson's now going through that.
Yeah, well, Cornish actually caught up about half a second on that last lap, so I think Simon may have just got a bit of a back marker. Lewis got through a little bit cleaner. It looks like Lewis is actually going to catch the back marker in the dirt section again. Watch the blue flag, so it's great to see the flag marshals doing a fantastic job there, letting the riders in front when faster riders are coming through.
Yeah, and he's got another one down there. On
yeah, there's our Japanese Makoto Arai just actually lost the front there going onto the transition from the dirt to the road. He's been struggling a little bit in that section all weekend, so something for him to work on.
And he's back on deck again. He's got the bike going, up and running. And as we look now, as we come down, getting closer to the final 5 minutes of this 20-minute moto, plus the 2 laps.
Just looking at the lap time there, it seems like it's just, as I said, someone there seems to be just controlling the race. It seems that you lose a half a second, then he gains half a second, he loses half a second. So obviously feeling very comfortable in the position where he's running in this second race. And I think Lewis is pretty much just taking the best of what he can and not feeling 100%, so he can't really give 100%.
And he'd be another one to be having a little peek behind his shoulder as he came off some of the second corners too, to see where Trakan is on track, the Thai rider in 3rd position. And right up high on the berm there was Bill Helmsley. And the fatigue would really be starting to set in now. It's been a big 3 days. We've had a lot of track time over the course of the last couple of days. And the half-hour session this morning for the warm-up. And then some pretty intense racing here. As you said, Troy, they were only getting about 10 or 11 laps in and then with the sessions, and now they're expecting to get around twice that many. They're up to already 12 laps with 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go.
We actually spoke to Makoto Arai, and he actually said 19 laps is the most he's ever done in one go on a Supermoto bike. He's only ever done before that 10 or 12. So he said for 19 laps it was quite a big challenge for him. But I think he'll definitely learn from that and be able to pace himself a little bit better throughout the whole race distance.
And Bill Helmsman going onto that final dirt section keeps a much tighter line than what Lewis Cornish is doing. Lewis Cornish runs it almost out to the edge of the strip before he turns it in.
Yeah, he's super fast on the transitions from the dirt to the road, and this last corner he just slides the bike all the way to the apex, gets off the throttle and then lights it up coming out, and he takes it into the first corner.
So he's 12 laps, 13 laps down now as Cornish goes through. Out to 6.5 seconds, actually a lot closer than what he was. So he's
a lot closer, yeah. Yeah, like I said, I think Simon's sort of controlling the race a little bit. He's not taking any risks. He's taking his time when he's coming up to slower riders, and hence why the gap's probably jumping back and forwards a little bit for him. But just seen him take another little peek over his left-hand shoulder there to see Lewis coming over the tabletop jump. So he's knows where the race is. He'll be counting down the times, which we haven't got that long left. We've only 3 minutes and 30 seconds left of this race, Braxy. So the boys are going to be getting ready to see the last 2-lap board coming out very shortly, and I'll be looking forward to that checkered flag.
It's starting to huff and puff something severely at the moment. I know I would be. Down there in the moment, just your mouth would be that dry, and yeah, it'd be a good idea to have them all in the Camelbacks just so they can get a bit of hydration, fill that up with electrolytes so they can take a sip of it as they're going on.
Yeah, particularly in the dust, so you get a dusty, dry mouth, and it just makes it really hard to get as much oxygen as you can. Obviously in the dust, you're trying to breathe through your nose as well as your mouth, and obviously with the extra dust and being in these hot conditions, it definitely makes it harder to get that oxygen in and get those deep breaths. The boys don't get any rest on this track at all. They get maybe a short break down this start-finish straight, which is probably all of about 5 seconds.
If that, yeah.
And then they're pretty much sideways on the brakes or on the throttle everywhere else. So very physical track, having the three dirt sections on this track, which is quite unusual, but it brings out another side to the racing for the guys.
Yeah, it shows the guys a bit strong in the motocross and enduro. It gives them a chance to improve themselves. I was just looking at Bill Helmson before. He's riding arms very high up and right over the front of the bike, muscling it around.
Yeah, I don't think he's got too much core strength, so he's trying to use his arms and relax his stomach as much as possible. He's done the best he could to prepare himself for this, and unfortunately, if he's not 100%, he can't give 100%. So I think he's doing the wise thing. He's taken some nice points into the championship. He'll walk away with 40 points effectively. So not a bad start for his 2018 campaign.
And he really let everybody know that he means business. He came out here for a bit of fun last year. Dato Eric Lou brought him out for the last 2 rounds of the set in the first race, and he knew what he had to do. Corning's won the championship, but I think he wants to see his name engraved on it. I'll tell you what, the trophies they've got for this afternoon for the top 5 place getters is some of the best trophies I've seen in a long while, and hats off to them. They'll be a coveted piece of, decoration on the mantelpiece, I'd say.
They look better than some of my World Superbike trophies that I've got sitting at home. So the boys have done a great job there, and I think everyone's going to be happy to take one of those and put it up on their shelf.
And that'll be live streamed as well after this race. We'll be down on the podium for the presentation. And right down to 10th place gets a check to take away as well. So we've got 1 minute left before we get to the final 2 laps extra. So he's on number 15, lap number 15 at the moment. Just trying to, we got to about 17 laps last time, didn't we? So
yeah, I think our leader's going to cross the line here just before the clock runs out, so he's actually effectively going to have to do 3 more laps now.
He did that
he's done that in race 1 as well, so he's crossing the line with like 30 seconds to go. So with this lap plus 2 laps after he finishes this lap to see the last lap board.
He probably thought about time that I saw the 2 lap board come out, but we've still got 25 seconds, so he'll be done halfway through this lap by the time the 20 minutes is up, but they wait till he comes back to get the 2.
Our third place rider's actually closed up on Lewis Cornish there. He's closed up a good second and a half in that 1 lap, so Lewis is going to have to keep his focus and determination to hold on to this 2nd place in this race too.
Yeah, and it just shows you how much his recent misfortune about that infection, and also getting Cook coming out here and getting sick coming out here, that he'd be really, really struggling at the moment. And Trakan Tantong in 3rd position. He might be able to do it. There's a couple of seconds in at the moment, but I'm sure that
so this lap round, he's going to see the 2 lap board to go. He's just about to come onto the start-finish straight now, just coming around the last corner. This will be a welcoming sight for these guys to see there's only 2 laps to go. We're looking forward to seeing that checkered flag being nice and smooth so he makes no mistakes. This is the most dangerous part for most riders. Your focus is down a little bit. You're feeling absolutely exhausted from riding in this heat, and you've still got to try to race and keep the guy behind you. So it's going to be two good laps, I think, from all these guys.
Yeah, and you can see the Lewis Cornish was coming up against a lap marker then as well. They might have had a bit of trouble getting past him. Just trying to see where he is. Oh, there he is, coming back into view through the dust cloud. And just seeing where Trakan is. He's just gone over the tabletop there. So he's still about, about 50 metres behind him at the moment. But Trakan will be getting a little bit of, a bit of inspiration there to close it down again. Now it's down to under 5 seconds. So he's closing it down, but to make all that up in 2 laps, unless Lewis makes a bit of a mistake. But the man that's making no mistakes, as we can see San Andres on the screen at the moment, is our race winner from race number 1, and leading from start to finish again.
He comes out later to take the last lap board as well, so this is, like I said, he just needs to keep it smooth and make no mistakes. He's got enough of a gap there just to roll off just a little bit, but like we said, you don't really want to roll off too much, because that's when like some small little mistakes happen, and it won't take much to end up on the ground.
Well, there's 2 sides to this, because there's only 10 seconds difference in the laps. The first and second gap at the moment. In the previous race, it was 20 seconds at this stage of the race. So I think Lewis a bit more determined, and Simon, as you've said a couple of times, just pacing himself to make sure he knows where his opposition is and bring it home and keep everybody happy. He'll probably be having an early night tonight, because I think he'll be flying out early tomorrow to get back to Denmark for his job. I think he's actually a plumber in real life. Here he comes to get the...
Just about to come into the last corner, our leader here, just to take the second leg of the FIM Supermoto Asia Motard Championship.
Here he comes now. The checkered flag is coming out to greet our man that's won pole position and 2 races. Well done to Simon Wilhelmsen on the Team DEL Michelin Racing Machine. So another fine victory for the young Dane. Here comes Lewis Cornish. No emotion there, he's just going...
That was a great ride by Lewis. I'm proud of him, actually. I've spoken to him a fair bit. Obviously he's English, so the translation...
Hey, look, Trakan Tantong, he's been looking at your videos, I think, stand-up monos. And,
yeah, it's great to see the boys putting on a bit of a show for our crowd that have come out here to join us to watch this first round of the Asian Championship.
And there goes Gabet, the Malaysian hero, also on the back wheel. Maybe keeping that tyre for future reference, but a great result all around. The perfect start of the year for Simon Wilhelmsen on the Husky. You can't get better than that. And 2 pretty convincing and dominant race victories here at Chai. And hats off to everybody that's been out there, because they've all been the same conditions that they've been racing in with the dust, and probably worse for some of the guys at the back in the first few laps, because they'll be just, until they start getting lapped, they'll be eating a lot of dirt. But,
yeah, it's good to see the 2 riders there in 2nd and 3rd place congratulating each other. They've all put in a stunning effort this weekend, and it's great to see that the racing's so close and the rivalry is so high.
Yeah, and there's not sheep stations at every corner either. That's a good thing about it too. There's always a bit of room. You might have to make a bit of a move on them when they get past in the competition, but I've seen some great sportsmanship in this FIM Asia Supermoto Championship. They're putting on a bit of a demo there. Lewis Cornish with the seat, still got a bit of energy for a stand-up wheelie.
Yeah, it's great to see. He's, I think he put in the best effort he could there over the whole weekend, considering he wasn't feeling too well. He was struggling a bit with the jet lag as well, as was Simon. So both those top riders put their great effort, as all the other riders as well. It's great to see all our riders made it to the checkered flag, and no crashes at all. So well done to the boys.
Yeah, it's especially in these hot and dusty conditions, as you said. They're putting on a great show for the fans that we watch it on 23.tv live around the world in the live streaming. And it's good to see that they're having a bit of fun and games out there to celebrate what's been a marvellous weekend here for the opening round in Thailand. And I'm sure their teams will be down there with probably a bucket of ice to throw down the back of the neck, and also some much needed lubrication. There'll be a bit of lubrication coming for a fair time tonight.
Yeah, might be time for a couple of cold frosties, I reckon, there, Brax.
A couple of frosty treats, why not? Bit of brown lemonade, never hurt anybody.
I can see the boys down there in the Parc Ferme. They've got their helmets off now. They actually, you can see that how hard they've been working. They're absolutely dripping with sweat. You can see Lewis just pulling in there into the Parc Fermé now. He's obviously very excited. He can't not be happy with 2 solid second places.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a good start for the season start for the defending champion. Obviously, everybody wants to win the race when you're at that level, but you've got to take the points you can when you're not doing anything too outrageous. But here we go as we look on screen as a review of our results, with Simon Wilhelmsen winning by 11.4 seconds, some 10 seconds less distance than what he had over Lewis Cornish, and Trakan Tantong in 3rd position. And as we scroll through, then it was Gabit in 4th, Zakaria in 5th, then 3 Malaysians in a row. So that's a really good fill with Haikal there in 6th position. So there's been a couple of standouts this weekend. I'd say he's one of the main ones that have been up there really doing well and improving and taking chunks of his lap times out every time.
Yeah, session by session, Brax. Like you said, he went out, he's chipping away 2-3 seconds each time, and feeling pretty happy with his achievements over the weekend. He's obviously got a lot to learn, but he's racing one of the best championships to do that, to learn.
And we might get ready and take a little break with the graphics and head down to the podium ceremony.
Yep, nice one. Thanks, Braxy.